Good afternoon, my name is Wesley Kearns. I want to talk to you today about diabetes awareness, a very serious condition. Specifically, I'm going to talk about type 2 diabetes because that's what I have. And it is a serious metabolic disorder. I guess what we need to understand here, I'm not going to get into long terms that a doctor would use. I'm going to simplify it in ways that I can understand and we can all understand it. So, the food that we take in every day and that we eat is converted into glucose. That glucose is broken down and sent into the bloodstream. It goes all throughout your body, but it needs to go somewhere. It needs to go in our cells. Every cell in your body requires glucose for energy. But the only way for that glucose to absorb into those cells is by insulin. A lot of people think that diabetes is a sugar problem, and maybe it is in a way, but really it's not. It's a hormone problem, and your body, your pancreas, does not produce the hormone insulin, either enough of it, too much of it, or none at all. Okay, so you need to think of this: the cell requiring this glucose needs a key to unlock a door. It needs the key to open that cell in order to get the glucose in it. So let's think of insulin as that key, okay? So that's pretty much a basic rundown of what type 2 diabetes is. It doesn't allow the glucose into the cells as it properly should, okay? So let's move on. And talk a little bit about blood glucose levels. You can have high blood glucose levels or low glucose levels. A hyperglycemic condition is something over here in this red area. These numbers, I don't know if you can see them or not. Between 80 and 115 is ideal. That's what the doctor wants you to have, and that's what you need to have. These numbers right here get really serious. Anybody in this area right here is considered hyperglycemic. Anything on this side of 80 and below, you're hypoglycemic. Okay, so if you ever hear those two conditions, or those two terms, that's what that means, is your blood glucose levels. Moving on. A lot of major symptoms of diabetes, many, and you know, they may not all come to a diabetic at one time. A diabetic may not develop all of them, but these are some of them. Some of them are very, very serious conditions. Affected vision. It can cause blindness if not treated. It's a really serious thing. I think that's one of the most serious things about it is the blindness part of it, and not going to your eye doctor and taking care of things the way you should. Irritability. I can attest to that. I get irritable. I was diagnosed 3 weeks ago, and a lot of people can tell you I get pretty irritated really quick over nothing. So that's one of the big symptoms. Confusion and memory loss, depending on the severity of the memory loss, but confusion is one of them, and I agree with that. I've been through that too, and I'm going through it right now, as a matter of fact. As long as I keep my blood glucose levels down, or in that green range that we saw on that chart earlier, as long as I can keep it in there, my confusion is pretty much at a minimum. So extreme thirst is one that I've encountered, and that is a big symptom too. Type 1 or type 2 diabetes patients can have that extreme thirst. And frequent urination comes along with the thirst. That follows it. Makes sense anyway. Somebody that drinks as much as I have in the past, urination is going to come right behind it. So fatigue is one of them. Unusual weight loss or gain. I have experienced weight loss without diet whatsoever. The diabetes was doing that. Okay. Slow to heal injuries, that's not something I've experienced yet, and I hope I never do. I have known people to have injuries in the past. A man in particular that I knew had diabetes. He had an injury on his, I think it was his right leg. he wound up losing both his legs, long story short, and not long thereafter he passed away because he didn't take care of himself. Numbness or tingling in the hands and feet, that's something that I feel quite frequently. A lot of that depends on your blood glucose levels. It's kind of like a small roller coaster. Until you get it figured out and you figure out what your body can and cannot do with certain foods, if it goes high, they're going to get numb and tingly. Next one. Coping and control, your proper diet is one of the most important things. Diet, exercise, and seeing your doctors the way you should. Maintain your balance of your 4 major food groups, so your meat and fish, grains, cereals, without all the sugar. You don't want all that, or you're going to hurt yourself. Fruits and vegetables and dairy. You have to be careful. Always read the label on what you take in, always. And make sure you know what you're putting in your body and know what your body will do with certain foods. Next one, please. Thank you. Eating in moderation. In the past, I would fill my plate up a couple of times and maybe go back for third, but I won't do that anymore. I cannot do that. I have to remain vigilant, and any other diabetic needs to do the same thing. You've got to keep it in moderation. Whatever your doctor tells you not to eat, don't eat it. You limit your size and proportions, and remain consistent with it. Don't get complacent, if you will. Don't get complacent about it. You can't just drop it like somebody drops a diet tomorrow and starts back on it 6 months later. You can't do that. You have to remain vigilant. Keep it on a regular schedule. As far as exercise goes, you don't want to start off, if you're not used to exercising, like myself, I don't want to need to go out here and run 25 miles and then turn around and what you want to do is start walking, build it up to jogging, and then maybe a marathon one day. Okay. So, stop smoking. Smoking is a really bad thing for everybody, not only diabetes but everybody. As far as maintaining your weight, that's very important too. Follow your doctor's orders. Always make your appointments and never cancel. Don't make a habit out of canceling. Unless it's an emergency, you need to see your doctor. Always, if you have a problem, a lingering problem, whether it's small or whatever, if you think it's insignificant, it may be significant. You need to tell your doctor about it, and he may have something to say about it that may help you. So that pretty much wraps it up. These are my references for the speech. There's a lot more to be learned about diabetics awareness. We talked a little bit about type 2 diabetes and what it is, and we talked a little bit about the symptoms. There are a lot of symptoms out there. I didn't mention all of them, but I pointed out and I highlighted most of the ones that are really important to notice. If you notice some of those symptoms, go see a doctor. If you have any suspicions whatsoever, go see a doctor. And we're talking about health and coping with it. The right exercise, the right diet, and seeing your doctor regularly is very, very important. All three of them. If you don't do, you can't just do one of them. You got to do all of them. So that's pretty much a wrap on the speech, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. And I hope everybody got something out of it. Hopefully I can do another one soon with more information on it. So thank you.